May 7, 2021. You're welcome to today's edition of Prime News on My Media Prime. My name is Gienda Pelgent Blanche King. Minister of Territorial Administration Paul Atanganji has cautioned armed dealers in Cameroon prohibiting the sales of self-defense weapons. This was yesterday in a meeting held with armed vendors at the ministry's conference hall. He announced that henceforth buyers will have to sign documents before purchasing traumatic pistols. Details with Audrey Zatsa in the following report.
It is at the conference hall of his ministerial department that Territorial Administration Minister Paul Atanganji met with armed vendors yesterday, 6th May 2021, a meeting during which he prohibited self-defense firearms throughout the national territory. Minister said, in spite of the provisions of Law Number 015 of December 2016 on arms and ammunition in Cameroon, several people still possess modern or locally made firearms without authorizations duly issued by the Territorial Administration Ministry, which, he said, is the sole authority empowered to issue authorizations for the acquisition and carrying of handguns, hunting weapons, and their ammunition.
The purchase of self-defense weapons, popularly known as traumatic pistols, is prohibited from today over the national territory. To closely monitor this state of affairs, we are working on a procedure for complete identification for those who intend to purchase that specific self-defense weapon.
To closely monitor the state of affairs, Paul Atanganji said that his ministry is closely working on a procedure for complete identification for those who intend to purchase specific self-defense weapons, adding that any buyer of a traumatic pistol will also sign a written commitment to comply the code of conduct and safety of holder of a sixth category weapon. Regretting the fact that highway robbers purchase firearms from some dealers without due authorization from competent authorities and as such continue to commit atrocities, Paul Atanganji ended by prescribing a responsible and republican behavior from merchants of firearms and ammunition while warning that defaulters will face the heavy arm of the law.
Following recent road accidents recorded recently in the country, measures have been adopted to ensure order in the transport sector. Most of these road accidents have been blamed on reckless driving and overloading. Details in the following report. 2 weeks after a deadly accident at the Elf neighborhood in Douala 3 subdivision, another vehicle was crushed yesterday beyond repair by a truck along the same stretch. According to sources, the truck overloaded with cement could not sustain the weight. The driver lost control and stepped on a private car negotiating a bend towards same direction. Fortunately, no lives were lost, but the navy blue private car was damaged. Series of road accidents have been recorded recently, which questions road safety measures in the country. Most of these accidents have been blamed on overspeeding, overloading, drunk driving, and non-respect of major road signs or indicators. Major roads linking Douala, Yaoundé, Changbafoussam are amongst roads that have recorded road accidents recently, and some clandestine interurban transport agencies have been called out severally for reckless driving and overloading. It is within the framework of the fight against clandestine interurban transport that the Minister of Transport, Jean-Ernest Massenangale-Bebehi, has suspended some clandestine interurban transport agencies and some interurban vehicles operating out of authorized loading points and without the necessary authorization. The clandestine interurban transport agencies, according to the communique signed by Transport Minister, are in Douala, Yaoundé, Bafoussam, Fumban, Masemena, Marua, Garua, Gide, Ngaoundéré, Bafang, Nchang, and Banyo. Administrative authorities have been called to ensure the implementation of these sanctions, which will last till the companies concerned regularize their respective administrative situations. Northwest Governor Adolphe Lafrique has appreciated the Northwest population and Bui for their collaboration with the forces of law and order. He assured the population of plans to ensure peace or the return of normalcy in the Northwest region. Governor Adolphe Lafrique is in Bui to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Bishop of Kumbo. Charles Kewa with details.
In a security meeting, May 6, 2021 in Kumbo, given separatists had alerted the population with the usual explosives at the square in the ahead as Christians prepare to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Bishop of Bui, His Lordship Bishop George Unko. Northwest Governor Adolphe Lafrique, in a security meeting with security officials of the region and Bui administration, Governor Adolphe Lafrique during the security meeting appreciated the population of the region and Bui for their increasing collaboration with the defense and security forces. Said, though kidnapping, threats and use of firearms by separatists is rampant, security forces of the region and Bui has sat down to deliberate how to ensure total peace to begin. He assured the population that tomorrow will be better than today, given things are under control in the region and Bui with the population gradually returning. Mayor Mboringong Venatius, Mayor of Kumbo Council, explained to the governor and security forces in the enlarged security meeting that the second quarter of 2021 has been a resurgence in separatist activities. Thus, movement to and out of Bui division is risk to top officials, a phenomenon that had died down after the December regional election. The governor, Adolphe Lafrique, and his État-Major are in Bui to celebrate the 40th anniversary of His Lordship Bishop Nko of Kumbo Diocese as he celebrates 40 years into priesthood.
The 44th session of the Board of Directors of Southwest Development Authority, Soweto, took place yesterday in Boya, chaired by Ediage Herbert. During the meeting, it was disclosed that 86.11% is the execution rate of projects adopted in 2020. Our reporter, Jobe Mokiregan, compiled the following.
Board members of the Southwest Development Authority, Soweto, has recently held the 44th ordinary session chaired by the board chair Ediage Herbert with Dr. Bison Tui Ogok, Director General, as rapporteur. The objective of this ordinary session was to examine the 2020 financial statement, the appointment of some staff, and the examination of ways and means of sourcing for external funding as a supplement to government subvention. Ediage Herbert is the board chair of the Southwest Development Authority, Soweto, who highlighted the raison d'être of the meeting.
After examining all the different financial statements, we realized that Soweto, in spite of the insecurity that reigns here, management did a lot of work because of the 294 million that was budgeted for the year 2020. Management was able to realize 1,974 million. And so that takes it to an execution rate of about 86%. And so the board thinks that that's an honorable execution rate. We take into consideration the fact that not all the divisions of the region are accessible at this point of time because of the insecurity.
The 2,294,764,048 francs budgeted for the 2020 financial year, 1,976,055,595 francs was executed, representing an execution rate of 86.11%. It should be noted that in reconstructing the Northwest and Southwest region, Soweto will play an important role in reconstructing and developing the Southwest region, said the board chair.
Soweto is going to play an important role because it's mentioned in the document creating the presidential plan for reconstruction and development of North and Southwest, that Soweto, just like its partner in the Northwest, Mideno, is going to liaise with the implementing partner. The implementing partner, you know very well, is the United Nations Program for Development. So we are waiting to get this afoot, and we are all hoping that this is going to help us realize some of our objectives.
After the 8 hours, 30-minute deliberation, the board adopted the 2020 financial statement, as the board chair congratulated management for the high rate of budgetary execution in spite of the security challenges in the southwest region.
Denizens of Makepe Misoke in the Douala 5 subdivision are still calling on authorities that be to come to their aid. Their homes have been filled with water following days of heavy downpour in the littoral region. According to inhabitants, with the coming of the rainy season, it is certain they will record huge losses if nothing is done and fast. Von Quinta completes the story.
Heavy downpours in Douala has left some neighborhoods inundated, with roads inaccessible, thus preventing residents from leaving their homes. One of the affected neighborhoods is Makepe Misoke, a precinct in Douala 5 subdivision. Following heavy rains, inhabitants of Makepe Misoke have seen their houses filled up with water for over 3 days, a situation they say might get even worse as they enter the peak of the rainy season. Locals are seen in waters trying to pick out their belongings washed away by heavy rains. A situation that is recurrent every rainy season. Inhabitants say all their pleas to officials have fallen on deaf ears. They say all promises made by the council has yielded no fruits as water keeps entering their homes and destroying household gadgets. When it rains, rivers and streams in Makepe Misoke serve as trash depot as plastics and waste from other parts of the city are deposited there. These youths, in a bid to serve their community, have been struggling to create a passageway for waste plastics deposited in the river after downpours. Inhabitants of Makepe Misoke have called on authorities to come to their aid as 3 days and still counting, their houses remain flooded.
Management of agro-produce services have appreciated farmers, workers and staff for their outstanding strides in making the company become a leading cocoa producer and exporter in and out of Cameroon. This was during their 10th anniversary celebrated recently. Kumono Rainbow completes the story in the following report.
The management of agro-produce management services, dubbed AMS Cameroon, has promised to protect its institution and workers as long as they put in the best of their services for the growth of the company. The promise was made by the country director for AMS Cameroon, Mr. Etakengande Divine, while celebrating the 135th International Labour Day and 10th anniversary of the company. Addressing farmers, workers and management staff, the country director said management is making everything possible to ease the stress of workers while making sure the workplace is more comfortable. He added that the company continues to encourage the diversification of skills and the health and safety culture while bearing in mind the dreaded COVID-19 virus which has brought menace to the global economy. Celebrating Labour Day this year is different from the past years, taking into consideration that the company clocks 10 years. With the collectivity of his staff, the company has been able to achieve several results, giving enough reason to the company's management to count their successes to inspire hope and challenges for the next 10 years.
Celebrating 10 years today with a good number of people I have seen, and a few people you heard the coordinator. The coordinator was announcing a good number of people who have been there for 10 years. And when I look at the lives of these people, their lives are first of all a reason for me to celebrate, because none is still at the stage where we started. When I look at the company itself with a series of stuff we mentioned, living from a container by the roadside, moving to a new site and moving now to a permanent site, I think these are great achievements. Also, talking about the number of farmers that we are handling, because we are celebrating here is because the farmers accepted the vision and the certification program that we brought. And the fact that these farmers are able to make life a meaning at their side, it causes me time and again to celebrate. In other words, I celebrate because I see people who deserve to be celebrated and who started with the company since 10 years ago.
According to the country's director, AMS has gone down the history as the first organization to ever obtain a group certification of cocoa production in Cameroon. He added that AMS received a testament for its quality cocoa from a Spanish consumer factory who requested for supply during a moment of shortage. Their experience with AMS quality has opened a page for future transaction as they requested for more supply of cocoa of the same origin and quality. 3 years ago, the company attracted the attention of the Presidency of the Republic, which earned them the recognition as a leader in sustainable cocoa production in Cameroon. The company blessings have kept mounting over the years, despite the trend of Menan's other businesses in the same sector face. He equally appreciated the company's management for their outstanding stature in making AMS become a key actor in the cocoa production, purchase and export in Cameroon and the world at large.
You're watching for 6:30 Prime News on My Major Prime. Some internally displaced persons living in Limbe have received business capital and farm inputs to enable them meet up with basic needs through small businesses and short-term food production. The project is sponsored by the United Nations Development Program and implemented by Making Hilltop Association for Development. Details with Kmer Honore.
Some internally displaced persons living in Limbe have benefited from a one-day capacity building workshop sponsored by the United Nations Development Program with support from the people of Japan, implemented by Kong Hilltop Association for Development. The project, titled Enhancing Livelihood Activities for IDPs and Vulnerable Host Members, including persons living with disabilities in Faku within the context of the COVID-19 pandemic, aims at empowering IDPs to have a means to meet up with their basic needs through managing small businesses and doing short-term food crop production. The project also aims at reigniting a spirit of self-esteem in IDPs who are run away from their communities to be freely affiliated with communities, groups, and carry out their daily activities with confidence.
And the third aspect is also to make them understand that for them to be more comfortable, apart from the fact that they are IDPs, they should not add their problems by exposing themselves to the recent coronavirus infection by respecting the government measures put in place and the WHO preventive measures that everybody should be able to wear a mask, maintain social distancing, use your hand sanitizer and disinfectants for healthy living.
The workshop brought together project beneficiaries who are IDPs and stakeholders who are host communities to brainstorm on the level of implementation of the project activities. Stakeholders were encouraged to commit themselves in the monitoring of project beneficiaries in their areas for the successful implementation of their livelihood projects. The IDPs received business capital and farm inputs while being sensitized on measures to prevent the spread of coronavirus within their communities. Beneficiaries were equally trained on business management, production of pastries, coconut oil, and short-term food crop production. Beneficiaries were called upon to make good use of the farm inputs and capital provided to them for the scaling up of their livelihood projects. At the end of the workshop, participants recommended that the project should be scaled up to increase the number of beneficiaries and host communities to benefit from the project subsequently.
HND candidates at the Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology HIBMAT have defended their 2-month internship report at their main campus in Boya. This exercise is to evaluate their students. Thus far, the defense took place under strict respect of all anti-COVID-19 measures, as Jobe Mokiregan tells us.
Some 150 students of the Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology HIBMAT have today defended their 2-month internship report under strict respect of barrier measures for COVID-19. The defense exercise that started as early as 7:30 a.m. saw students of the Higher National Diploma in Marketing, Management, Accountancy, Transport and Logistic Management Just to name but these, presented the background knowledge, organizational chart and activities carried out during their 2 months of blending theory with practical in the different organizations where they carry out their internship. Germaine Suzanne Limunga highlighted some of the challenges faced during her internship period.
Actually, during my internship carried out at the Cameroon Opportunity Industrialization Center, OIC, I faced several challenges. Like for instance, as the organization did not have the secretary typist and the printing machine, I had to go out of the organization to do printing across the roadside, which was actually in the market. And also I did activities that I was not intended to do.
Professor Ibrahim Tala is the rector of the Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology.
I'm happy to say that all the members of the jury were present. All the assessors from the HND Center also present. All the students were present. And the interaction between the students and their examiners has been very, very fruitful and very good. So I think that the students have not wasted their time and that this exercise will be very, very beneficial to them.
Adding his voice to that of the rector is Dr. Kamer Patrick, one of the chair of the defense panel, who called on the defending students to take their bookwork seriously.
So the take-home message is that students should take their studies serious, and exercises like defenses as such should be taken with utmost importance because they constitute an integral part of their HND exams.
Germaine Suzanne, Tara Sylvester and Egbert Thomas are students of Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology who share their defense experience.
What I did in the field and the questions I've been asked and answered today really proves that I did something in the field. So I'm really grateful.
And during my internship carried out today, it was not that difficult. I was not tense. I was courageous enough to talk to the members of the jury and the prisoner of the jury, which I know I'm going to make it successful.
Well, I just defended, and the defense program was successful. It was good. It was encouraging.
It should be noted that the defense exercise is a fulfillment of the requirement from the Ministry of Higher Education for students going in for the Higher National Diploma examination.
Etape Quentin compiled sport reports in the French language.
Mondial 2022. Les playoffs africains ont été reportés de 3 mois. Une décision rendue publique hier jeudi 6 mai 2021 par la CAF à l'issue d'un conseil regroupant son comité d'urgence et la FIFA à cause des troubles qu'a apporté la pandémie de Covid-19. Malgré cela, l'entraîneur du Cameroun compte organiser les stages avec les matchs amicaux pour la préparation physique et mentale des Lions indomptables.
On a déjà le plan B qui a déjà été présenté, c'est de pouvoir continuer à faire le stage, de regrouper quand même les joueurs et de faire deux matchs amicaux au cas où les matchs officiels ne sont pas du fait, quoi.
Donc, en dépit des controverses produites par les tests d'avant-match lors des compétitions passées en Afrique, dans un contexte de crise sanitaire animé par le coronavirus, la CAF a décidé de revoir ses stratégies pour améliorer l'implémentation des contrôles liés à la pandémie de Covid-19. L'instance fêtière du football africain entend donc relever le défi en créant des conditions de jeu optimales pour toutes les équipes participantes. Rappelons que ces éliminatoires de la World Cup Qatar 2022, qui devraient débuter en juin 2021, vont plutôt démarrer probablement dans les mois de septembre, octobre et novembre de cette année. Selon la CAF, les détails concernant le calendrier actualisé seront communiqués dans les jours à venir. Parlant du championnat camerounais et Ligue 1 2020-2021, le programme des matchs de la 11e journée est connu. À l'affiche, Eding Sport contre Yafoot au stade Omnisport d'Amadou Aïdou à Yaoundé. Stade Renard va recevoir Dragon FC sur la pelouse du stade municipal de Mélon. Fovu de Baham fera face à Diko FC sur le tapis vert de Bamendi de Bafoussam. Union de Douala s'opposera à domicile contre PWD de Bamenda sur le gazon de l'annexe de Bepanda, ici dans la capitale économique du pays. Et enfin, AS Fortuna ira jouer à l'extérieur contre Bamboutous au stade municipal de Bouddha. Ces rencontres vont se discuter dans les différents stades du Cameroun dimanche prochain à 15h.
We've come to the end of Prime News, coordinated by Faith Tata, produced by Ewane Eli Nolinga. My name is Genda Pelgrim Blanche King. See you on Monday at 6:30. God willing, stay tuned to my Major Prime at 7 p.m. Cameroon time. Prime Hour will be live with Kim Leonard. Happy viewing and good night.